So let's talk about the actual thought of detoxification. This is more of a chemical reaction that is very important for you to understand. So there's multiple phases. There's three real phases of detox. Phase one, and we're going to relate this kind of to a bathtub. So let's talk about how our body gets toxins out. Think of phase one as pulling the toxins out of your tissues. So we've eaten something, we were in a really smoky environment. We need to get those chemicals out of us. So phase one is those toxins are in us. Phase one is pulling them out of your tissues. So think of phase one like water filling up a bathtub. Toxins are gathered, they're pulled out of the tissues to be dealt with. Things we have to keep in mind. If it's a bathtub, how hot is the water? Is it scalding water? Is it dangerous to get in? How fast is it filling up or how slow is it filling up? So toxins coming out of your tissues is like filling up a bathtub with water. Now I want you to think of phase two. Phase two is where the water cools down and the tub drains. It keeps it from overflowing. So phase two works very well when the drain is open and things can get out. In our body, it's very important, to think of body and bathtub. We have all this water. If the water's coming in very fast, like a high toxin environment that our body is trying to get things out quickly, the drain needs to be open wide. Things have to be flowing out. And if it's not, we're going to overflow our tub. We have to think, what if the drain is clogged? Even if toxins aren't coming out of your tissues quickly, maybe it's at a nice, slow, moderate pace. If your drain is clogged in phase two, detoxification is not working, you're going to overflow your tub. So phase one, pulling toxins out of your tissues. Phase two is getting them to go down the drain. It's very important to keep in mind, you have to have a very functional phase two, which is the drain. The drain always must be working, which is getting rid of that water, getting rid of the toxins, and you have to control phase one. So those are the main components of detoxification that I want you to keep in mind and will continue to refer to. Now, we can get into this a little bit more technical terminology, and this is detoxification laid out. And it's very crucial again to understand this. We have two major detoxification pathways, phase one and phase two. They're controlled by actually your health. So certain behaviors speed up both phases and certain behaviors can speed down individual phases. It's determined by your genetics, what you eat, your activity level, and even your exposures of how your genes are turned on and off. Phase one, you'll see, is you have toxins and it pulls the bad stuff out of your tissues. Phase two makes those compounds water soluble so that you can excrete them. So they can be dumped into your urinary system, or they can be dumped into the bile, which you're excreted through your stool. There's a moment in this process that you'll see right in the middle. Between phase one and phase two, there is a very big area of concern, and that's called this reactive intermediates place. After the chemicals are pulled out of your tissues from phase one, they actually enter this more toxic environment, even more toxic sometimes than the original compound or the original toxin you took in. We call these the reactive intermediates, and I think of those as the lightning fireballs that go through your system, then bouncing around and causing damage until they can be addressed by phase two. Now, I hope you're seeing that if you have phase one happening very quickly and you're creating all of these reactive intermediates, but your drain is clogged, your phase two is clogged, you can actually put yourself into a more critical health situation because these reactive intermediates are very dangerous. Now, when phase two is working well, it neutralizes those fireballs, puts out the fire, so to speak, and we're able to excrete those compounds just like we should be doing. So when you think about detoxification, getting bad things out of your system, you have to keep in mind there are several steps to work with, and it is very important. Do not dabble with detoxification. You can actually make yourself sicker by revving up a system when it's not able to neutralize and excrete.